Good afternoon and welcome to the July 7th Athens Planning Commission meeting. The time is 12:02. We have a quorum here with only one member missing. The first item would be anybody who would be interested in speaking, if they would raise their right hand and repeat after me or say "I do." All the testimony you will make will be to the best of your knowledge, accurate and correct. Okay, thank you. So the second item on the agenda is the disposition of the June minutes. We don't have the requisite number of individuals here to vote on that, so that'll be deferred to our next meeting. Cases, we have none today, but our fourth item on the agenda is communications at Title 41, project at University Estates new medical office building. And so, Mr. Riggs, do you want to say something first, or should I? Okay.
I can real quick.
Okay.
Mr. Chair and commission members, good day. This is a new proposed medical office building, total of about 700, or I forgot the square footage here on it. Yeah, sorry, thank you. We also think that we haven't approved it yet, but they've also asked for a address assignment for this property. Based on fire and 911, we're considering 14 University Estates Boulevard for the new address for this development. And I would also note that the Shade Tree Commission is not meeting in July, so any decisions made on the case may have to have contingent upon Shade Tree approval when they finally meet. And then one final thing, I've had some discussions. The parking spaces that they have shown on the plans are based on the old city codified ordinances. We've changed the parking requirements, so it's possible that you could see this number of parking spaces reduced on the next plans that get submitted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And I also saw was emailed a letter from your office with some information you needed, all of which seemed pretty straightforward, and it just needs to be added to the documents.
Those are the standard requirements for submission, so yeah.
Okay. Would somebody representing the development like to speak? If you would, come to the podium and state your name, please.
My name's Clinton Kinsley with Buckley Group Engineering. We're the consultant engineer for the site design for the project. And I've got an updated set of drawings.
Okay.
Basically, the update was the site portion. So we'll start on C101.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the changes to the site, since the original plans that you have, we removed a wraparound access drive on the west side of the building to accommodate grading a little bit easier. Okay. And we moved the dumpster pad area, which would be annotated on sheet C101 of the new set. That dumpster pad area was on the northwest corner of the building. Now we've moved it right off of the egress easement driveway on the northeast edge of the building. And a couple of the parking spaces were shifted from the upper parking down to the lower parking, just to accommodate grading as well. We also started to address some of the comments that we got back so far from different departments. So we added some stormwater or bioretention areas to treat some of the surface runoff from the parking lot and the building. And we've got the storm system, which is outlined on C-102. We've got that running uphill from a diversion ditch, which catches runoff from the slope that we're cutting into for that upper parking lot. Got a diversion ditch running to a catch basin and then kind of going around the site to protect the building from runoff, and also incorporating those bioretention areas into the storm system, which there's a detail on sheet C-105 of how that bioretention area will work. It's kind of this standard EPA's bioretention system with 24 inches minimum of topsoil and a layer of sand and aggregate, and then some larger aggregate to carry the perforated drain that will drain the areas. So those are the changes, probably the most significant changes that you've seen. I think David mentioned that parking may not be required to be as extensive as what we've provided with 75 spots, but I did speak just to the client here, and we're thinking that we'll probably want to maintain that 75 space number for prospective tenants, because there are going to be 2 suites that we don't know that they're not going to be completed as part of the original construction. They'll be built to suit, just to have the shell around them.
So that first phase would be what percentage of the building would be built out? Do you have any idea?
50%.
50%, about half of it, okay. Anything else?
Those are the changes that I provided. Some of the comments, like fire protection, we've got a fire hydrant in the back that's accessible off of the entrance egress easement, and that would be on sheet C-103, the utility plan. We've got the sanitary sewer is unchanged basically from what you would have seen in the previous version, just coming to a manhole and then coming down the slope that runs parallel to University State Boulevard and ties into an existing sanitary sewer there. The grades have changed a little bit. We raised, I believe, a foot from what the original plans were to 700. So we're going to need some site retaining walls, and we'll provide that detail to you as part of the final submissions.
Anybody on the commission have any questions?
Is there net waste, or are you trying to balance on the
For
site?
fill,
Yeah.
I believe we're going to be 1,500 yards import
Okay.
to get it up to that level, because in some areas we're filling, like the wall itself is going to be about 4.5 feet tall. So
There's some rock.
yes,
on the backside
and
that
that'll
makes-
help us with excavation too.
Sure.
For the trenches. So to bring it up with soil, diggable soil.
Sure. The second question I had was, did you get a chance to see, or did we get a chance to get the comments from the Engineering and Public Works Department to you? I know that they came out maybe yesterday or this morning.
Yesterday or this morning,
Okay.
they have not seen them yet, sir.
Okay, they're not extensive. The sanitary sewer, they had some questions about the connections on there, so you might take a look at that. Like I said, they're not extensive
Yep.
comments. You've addressed a lot of the stuff that we
Yeah, and
typically
I think
ask.
this is going to be a little bit more clear. This set.
Sure,
Should be.
and that might alleviate that. The other question that I had was on the ingress egress easement. Have you already secured the right to go on that other parcel to basically to have that shared access?
I believe it's part of the original split of
Okay.
of these two.
Okay, when it's
Lots.
split, that already
Yes,
was there. And was
yes.
okay, very good. Very good, because I could see you getting this
And we'll
situation.
provide. I think one of the requirements is the boundary And we can provide that easement with the boundary calls and everything as
I mean, at the end of the day, it just harms the complex. And then the last question I had was, is there any inpatient stuff in this medical office building that you're aware of? And maybe that's a future use plan, but I mean, that matters a little bit.
I'm not sure, I'll have to, do we have any?
I highly doubt that'll be the use of any additional spaces, it's not gonna be the use of the current.
Okay, so nobody's gonna spend the night there, basically. That's not the plan. Okay, very good. That will matter. I mean, that will make capacity fees a lot lower when it comes to calculating. They're gonna have to do their best to calculate it based on a future use, but probably will just function like an office building, basically, rather than a hospital, since there's not gonna be any inpatient.
Right.
Mrs. Bain or Mr. Phillips, any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay. So I think we don't have any, we won't take any action until you come back with, answering the questions and with the final plans and things, but thank you very much. I will say, and Austin and Phillips and I spoke a moment ago, I like the idea that the building is presented, the face of the building is presented on to University Boulevard or University Estates Boulevard. I like how that's working out, so.
It's an attractive building. I mean,
Yeah.
in the elevation view, it'll look nice.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda are reports. The city planner is not with us today. Mr. Riggs, do you have an update on development and code enforcement?
Yeah, I don't have anything for you for today.
Okay, okay.
I do have an item.
Oh, you
that
do?
would kind of
Good.
do that. One of the things with the city planner's absence, one of the things he had been working on was recommendations on zoning code changes related to large-scale solar arrays. And I think that's something that this body and we need to look at carefully here over the next couple of months, because I just see the potential for that happening more. And so I think, we want to be proactive and get ahead of that, and then make a recommendation to the council to update the zoning code to support those large-scale solar arrays. He's looking at not just the open space zoning where we had, talked about it before, but then also, where in other portions of our code would those be appropriate to be permissible, portions of our zoning versus not permissible. The large industrial or commercial, like grid scale type solar arrays.
Okay, good. So any timeline for bringing that here? Do you know where they're at?
I don't.
Okay.
Like I said, he's out unexpectedly, and so
Sure.
we're trying to, kind of pull things together, and Director Riggs and I will look at it, and then perhaps the next month, we could at least start the discussion.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is any citizens who would like to speak about anything that was not on the agenda. Do we have? No. Okay. Are there any announcements or other business? I'm not aware of any. No. Our next meeting is July 21st. It's 2 weeks from today. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if there are no other comments or questions.
I'll move.
Okay, so moved and seconded by Austin. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.